Okay, so today we're going to be talking about tuning your bow with a fixed blade broadhead. Now I shoot the Magnus broadheads, the 100 grain stingers. This will be my 15th fall using them. I love these broadheads. I love the way they fly. You can get lucky and you can shoot out of the box and have them fly exactly how your field points do. But odds are they're not going to fly exactly where the field points do. So what you're going to need to do is tune your bow. So I have my Barracuda here. I just bought this last spring. It's rated at 345 feet per second. Now with my draw length, my arrow weight, and my broadhead weight, I'm shooting like 320 on the chrono. So it's still really fast. I have a standard IQ Pro 7-pin, and then I have the quad HDX drop away rest. So this is all off the shelf stuff, everything that you guys can buy and shoot right out of any archery shop. So what we're going to do though, we're going to start talking about tuning your fixed blade broadhead. Now a fixed blade broadhead is going to steer completely different than your field point. You're going to have all the rudder up front and all the air resistance is going to hit these open blades. Okay, and it's not going to steer off the back like normal with your fletchings. You're going to be more of like a rudder system off the nose of the arrow. So what that's going to do is it's going to, when you shoot your broadheads compared to your field points, it's going to exaggerate the amount that your arrow is going to be out of plane. And what that means is you can shoot your field points all day long and you can have them dialed exactly where you want them. But when you put that fixed blade broadhead on, that's going to cut the air and it's going to steer the arrow. It's going to exaggerate if your bow is actually shooting down or shooting left or shooting up or shooting right or both, down and left, up and right, whatever. And then that fixed blade broadhead is going to steer the arrow to where it is. So step one to tuning your fixed blade broadheads is going to be have the archery shop set your bow up, get it all done by a professional first. Second, you're going to sight in your field points exactly where you want them to hit. And that means if you can hit a golf ball at 45 yards with that field point every time, you've got those field points dialed in exactly where they need to be. So that being said, you're going to shoot a broadhead then, and you want to shoot your broadhead at 20 yards. You don't want to be super close, you don't want to be far. I've always found that 20-yard range is a perfect location to test your broadhead. So you're going to shoot that broadhead into a broadhead approved target and you're going to see where that broadhead's going to hit. Now my broadheads, when I got this bow finally sighted in with my field points, my broadhead shot high and left about 4 inches each way. So I was high 4 inches, left 4 inches. And that told me that my rest, not my sights, my rest needed to move to adjust that. So that's how you're going to adjust your fixed blade broadhead. So what you're going to do is you're going to loosen up the mounting screws on the side and on the bottom or the top of that rest. And you're going to steer the arrow then from the rest. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to find that happy medium of where your broadhead hit and where your field point hit. So my broadhead hit high and left. So what I needed to do with my rest was I needed to bring my rest down and right in order to steer the front of the arrow down and right. Okay, so what I did was I shot a couple groups to make sure that my groups were where they were. And my bow, it wasn't me, my bow was off high and left. So when you're moving your rest, you have to make micro adjustments, okay? Because you're steering the arrow when your arrow is in your rest back here and it's at rest, you're not at draw. Okay, the adjustment of your arrow is going to be on the rear of the arrow. And when you move the rear of the arrow a 1/4 inch, it moves the front a lot. Okay, do you see that? So what you're going to do is you're going to move your rest, if you need to move it, like a 32nd or a 64th. And that's about it. And then you're going to test another arrow, okay? Because you start moving like an 1/8 of an inch, up, down, left, right, you are going to throw the arrow way off and then you're going to be chasing your tail all day. So these little lines that are on your rest, those are to help you. So you can either try to gap the lines or move it to a line or split a line or whatever. But loosen them up just so you can move it. Don't loosen it like really loose. You want friction still in those slide areas, so just crack the screws loose and tap it. Mark where you're at and move that rest, okay? And that's how you're going to tune your fixed blade broadhead, okay? Now these Magnus Stingers will fly exactly where I want them to fly as soon as I tune my bow. Okay, and that's the biggest difference. Is a lot of people they'll shoot their field points and then they'll shoot the broadhead, and the broadheads will be way off, and they blame the broadhead. It's not the broadhead. It's your bow, and you need to tune it. Okay, it's very simple to do it at home. All you need is the Allen wrenches that came with it and patience. Okay, if you're getting tired, you're shooting a lot, just stop, walk away, and start over tomorrow. If it goes back in the same spot, then you start moving and adjusting it again. But just make sure that you have faith in yourself, that your shooting is right on par, and you're hitting exactly where you think you touched off, okay? Because that's going to be the best thing, is confidence in yourself. Once you have confidence in yourself, you have confidence in your equipment, and you'll get that rest to shoot these fixed blade broadheads exactly where you want them to go. So like I was explaining before, when I was down in the locker room, when you're shooting your fixed blade broadhead and you're shooting right, you're going to adjust your rest to the left. So the opposites attract when you think about it that way, because you're steering the arrow from the back, like I said. So if we're shooting to the right, we need to pull the rest to the left. It's the opposite with the sights. So when you're shooting right, you're going to chase it right with the sights. So now our field points and our broadheads are shooting identical. I've got them both dialed into where they need to be by moving the rest. They're both hitting in the same area. So now I'm shooting, my elevation is excellent. It's right across where I need to be at 20 and 30 yards. But I'm shooting like 2 inches right with both the field points and the broadheads. So now that I have the rest tuned with the fixed broadhead, the Magnus Stinger here, and the field pointer shooting identical out of the rest by adjusting that tunage and adjusting those elevation and windage like I showed you guys. Now we're going to move our sights, and we're going to move that whole shuttle, and I'm going to push that sight shuttle to the right to gain back that 2 inches that now everything is settled up, and that's where they're both connecting. So I'm going to shoot a couple arrows. We're going to see how it turns out. Alright, so I made my adjustment. I'm going to shoot the field point first. This is 20 yards. See how it shoots. Looks like I'm going to hear it right still. Well, we're going in the right direction. Here's our Magnus Broadhead 100 grain Stinger. Actually, that broadhead looked dead on, so maybe I pulled that shot with the field point. I got another field point here. I'm going to try it. That broadhead shot felt really good. So let's try this field point and see what it looks like. Yeah, that field point's right on. So I pulled that first shot. So you guys get the idea. Set your bows up, be confident in yourself, be confident in your equipment, and happy hunting this fall.